Live from the local station, this is a Weather Authority alert.
Looking live at Jacksonville Beach, growing signs of Sandy's presence. The surf is churning, as you can see. Waves are high as the winds are whipping up. And swimmers are being told by officials to stay out of the water at least until Sunday because the surf is too dangerous. Now, the conditions at sea are so bad, this Dutch cruise ship bound for Fort Lauderdale had to be diverted here to Jacksport. Good evening. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, and Flagler counties. The late season hurricane has lost some strength, which is good news for our part of the state and for South Georgia.
The now Category 1 hurricane poses the biggest threat to our coastal communities. We have a live picture right now from St. Augustine, where a rescue out on the water is being carried out right before your eyes. You can see just how rough the water is there. Somebody has sent a distress signal, and a rescue is going on right now. Now, here's a live picture of the hurricane track of Sandy. It remains well offshore, but will continue to move along the Florida coast through the weekend. Right now, Channel 4's Erica Rako is at Blunt Island, where that cruise ship found safe harbor, while Channel 4's Jim Piggott has spoken with city officials about how they're preparing for Sandy and all of the Georgia-Florida festivities.
Kamasi Aaron and Emily Turner are checking on local coastal communities and the concerns that emergency officials have at the beaches. We'll start, though, with Chief Meteorologist John Gahn, who's here to tell us what we can expect from Sandy. John?
And again, you just illustrated the size of Sandy with that big satellite picture. Here are the latest details from the Hurricane Center. It did take that turn right towards Jacksonville, towards Florida, but now it's about to turn away. Already the movement now is more northerly, different than what you see here. It's starting to make that turn off towards the north and east, and that'll be the overall impression that you should take away. Not coming here, okay? But the impact will definitely be with us because, again, the influence of Sandy will be wide and far into the distant east and west of it. I know it's sounding a little strange, but the bottom line is that it's a very large hurricane, and it's going to grow in size. It may weaken to a tropical storm before it re-intensifies. For the folks up there in the northeast, it's a really big deal. Look how calm things are. In New York City, 3-mile-an-hour wind, 10-mile-an-hour winds out there near Virginia Beach. Those locations, plus many of these other locations, will see winds gusting up towards 50 miles an hour. Here's what's happening for our backyard right now. These are the sustained winds, 20 at the airport, 24 in St. Augustine, Palm Coast about the same, but even inland locations seeing gusty winds right now. These are the wind gusts popping over 35 miles an hour, St. Augustine, 36 and through parts of Palm Coast. And the worst of the storm will probably come in much later tonight. Now, it's not going to get dramatically worse, but as you go to bed tonight, you could hear a little rain hit the window real hard, and that'll happen after around, say, 7 or 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning. There is a big band of heavy rains developing right offshore right now, but they're mainly staying offshore and basically focusing themselves down towards Volusia County. The extreme danger, it's out there in the rip currents. Want to stay out of the water. The beaches are closed. Tom and Mary will talk more about that in a minute. Surf, you always saw that up to 8 to 12 feet. Beaches could see those winds up to around 50 miles an hour. Here's how it looks off our beach cam. Granted, they have had rain. We've got a little salt on the lens, and it's a little, well, covered over by the spray that's going on out there along the coast. 76 degrees at the beach right now, northeasterly winds. This is an ugly beach forecast. Look at the wind speeds. This is a forecast for tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll have a high tide coming in along the coast at around 7:30 in the morning. And when it does so, Tom, Mary, you're going to see Emily Turner here in a minute down there in St. Augustine. The water may go over the wall, which is right behind her, but just a little bit, as we're looking for the coastal surge to be about 2 to 3 feet at time of high tide tomorrow morning, sometime around 8 o'clock. Mary?
Thank you, John. Now, it's because of Sandy that we have a local breaking news alert at Blunt Island. A cruise ship that can carry as many as 2,100 passengers is now stranded here in Jacksonville.
The ship was diverted to our port because of the treacherous seas south of here. Channel 4's Erica Rako is at Blunt Island. Erica, where did the ship set sail from?
Well, Tom, it's a Holland America Line cruise ship. It's called the Eurodam. We're told it'll be here at Jacksport for 2 days. You can see it's here at the port because it's so large it can't make it under the Dames Point Bridge, make it further up the river to get to the cruise port. But the 13-day cruise left Quebec on October 14th and was scheduled to arrive in Fort Lauderdale tomorrow, but it had to pull into port here around 3 o'clock this afternoon because of the rough conditions in the ocean. The cruise line is working working with Customs here to try to get the passengers off. And if they're able to do so, the cruise line is going to give them bus transportation to South Florida, their original destination. So a lot of these passengers have air reservations and other accommodations that they have from South Florida. So many of them need to get down there by tomorrow. I talked with someone who works at the port here, and he says he saw them take about 30 passengers who were seasick off of the ship. They told them there were about 20-foot seas out there, really rough. He says he's never seen a ship this large have to come into port here. Of course, smaller ones. He's worked here for a while. It's a massive ship. As you mentioned, it's more than 900 feet long, and it holds up to 2,100 people. So a lot of people's plans ruined. They were supposed to get to Fort Lauderdale tomorrow, had to pull into here. It's also messed up plans for a second trip, a 7-day cruise that was supposed to get on the ship in Fort Lauderdale tomorrow. We're told they're trying to accommodate those passengers to travel up to Jacksonville and get on the ship here. So a lot of passengers' plans ruined by Sandy, and maybe they'll enjoy Florida Georgia festivities. Who knows? They picked a good weekend to be in Jacksonville, that's for sure. We're live this evening. Erica Rayco, Channel 4, the local station.
Now, a few moments ago, we showed you a live picture of a rescue being carried out right now in St. Augustine in the Matanzas River.
Emily Turner is standing by live in St. Augustine to give us the latest. Emily?
At this point, we don't know any of the specifics about what's going on, but what we do know is that there are 2 men in this very small boat out there on the Matanzas River. In the last 2 minutes, you can see the Marine Patrol officer has been able to meet up with the folks on that boat. He's tossed them a line, and it looks like they're getting a tow right now. We zoomed in a little bit earlier, and I'll have my photographer do that again now. One of the men is using a 5-gallon bucket to dump water out of his boat. I mean, you can see just how rough these seas are, and it's really kicked up, even in the last hour, to the point that as the tide is coming in, water is splashing over the bulkhead down there by the fort. At this point, it looks like the men are going the opposite direction of the city marina, but that they are with the Marine Patrol, and they do have a line, so hopefully they'll get to safety. Neither one of the men in the boat, though, has a life vest on. Of course, we will continue to be monitoring this situation out here live in St. Augustine. For now, Emily Turner, Channel 4, the local station. And this goes now over to Kamasi. Kamasi's in Jacksonville Beach. How is the weather out there for you, Kamasi?
Well, it's just as windy as it's been all day. We were out here around noon and it was windy then, and it seems like it's getting even windier. And I want to just show you what the water looks like right now. You can see those waves. Check them out. They seem to be getting bigger. Ocean Rescue tells me that they have been getting bigger as the day goes on. And there's also still the risk of dangerous rip currents out here. And those are just some of the reasons why the city of Jacksonville Beach decided to close the beach down today. You're allowed to go on the shore, but you cannot get into the water. Of course, you can imagine that was disappointing to a lot of people out here, especially people who came in town for the Florida Georgia game and were hoping to get in the water. Big waves and gusty winds, just 2 products of Hurricane Sandy that prompted the city of Jacksonville Beach to close the beach until Sunday. You can still walk on shore, but Bob and Brenda Lance, who traveled from Athens for the Florida Georgia game, were hoping to do a little bit more.
We came down yesterday to have a beach day today. We're going to stay till Monday, but I think the storm's going to change that.
The city decided to close the beach around noon Friday when winds here reached speeds of 40 miles an hour. Ocean Rescue says Sandy's brought dangerous rip currents and water conditions that just aren't safe.
Right now, it's a really strong current from north to south. There's big surf, about 6 feet, and with the storm offshore, it's just going to make the conditions worse as the weekend progresses.
Fans in town for Florida Georgia seem to still be excited despite the dim prediction and determined to make the best of the weekend.
It's fun just to hang out with friends and go to the beach. It's not all about just the water, it's about the camaraderie and just having a fun time.
It's really not bothering me that much. I mean, we have a pool, we have a hot tub in there, so we still can get wet, I guess.
So as you can see, still choppy conditions out here at Jacksonville Beach. If you're planning to come out here, you're not allowed to get in the water again. Jacksonville Beach has banned you from doing that, but you are allowed to walk along the shore. We haven't seen too many people out here doing that this afternoon. Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach, however, are still open. I want to tell you, though, they do not have lifeguards out there, so if you're heading to Neptune or Atlantic Beach, you'll be swimming at your own risk. Reporting live at Jacksonville Beach, Kumasi Aaron, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Kamasi. Now, as we heard from John, the wind from the storm, as far as downtown is concerned, is the worry.
especially when it comes to the safety of Georgia-Florida fans. Channel 4's Jim Piggott is live at RV City. Jim, are pregame partiers taking any weather-related precautions?
Well, they are doing that. They know that the wind could be a concern, but I'm going to kind of walk you around here. You can see people still have canopies up behind me here, but look back over here, this extreme party truck, as they call it. Actually, they're not waving as much. The flags up at the top are really bending over and going at one time. But they're out here. There's a concert getting ready to go on around me as well here. People are here to have fun, but they know there's a storm out there that they need to watch for. It's the winds from Sandy that are the main concern, and city emergency staff is asking all of those heading downtown for the Georgia-Florida festivities to be careful.
As predicted, it'll be a high wind event, 25 to 35 knots tonight and tomorrow morning, and based on that, we can still have a safe and fun football game this weekend with all the planned festivities.
And because of the winds, the Coast Guard is worried about those going to the game by boat.
Stay off the water. Come down via car, bus, carpool, but not on a boat.
We talked to boaters already docked at Metro Park. They're not worried yet.
We're tucked away in the marina, so as far as waves, I'm not really too concerned. As far as the wind, it's tied up pretty good. Feel pretty confident with it.
What about leaving? I mean, if it does get bad, what will you do?
I'll leave the boat here and I will leave and go home.
JEA is standing by. High winds means trees will come down and power will be off.
We are monitoring it, and all of our crews are on standby. So we're keeping an eye out on the winds and the rains. Also keep in mind that during these type of situations, we might receive calls from other areas asking for help. Right now, we have not received any calls, but certainly if the storm does turn, we do expect some calls for help.
And the city is down here. They have a situation center set up nearby here because this is where all of the people are going to be. They're monitoring it here and also at the Emergency Operations Center. We're live from RV City. Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Jim. John and the Channel 4 Weather Authority will continue to bring you hurricane updates at the top of every hour.
And as always, when the news is not on TV, you can track Sandy yourself on justweather.com. Click on the Hurricane tab to look at the latest forecasts and models and to read George Winterling's blog.
For the first time, we're hearing a local mother's heroic story. What happened when she found an abandoned newborn in her neighborhood?
Just to see a baby, just to spot a baby, you know, just right there. I mean, why choose that spot? The person could have chosen any spot.
How this Good Samaritan helped keep the hours-old baby alive. That's next.
For the first time, a Good Samaritan is sharing with us how she came to the rescue of an abandoned baby Wednesday evening.
We first told you about the police investigation yesterday. A woman who lives at the Huntington apartment complex on Monument Road in Fort Caroline found a newborn baby wrapped in a blanket lying on the ground. Well, today the woman told Elizabeth Kate one of her children was the first to see the baby.
In the mind of this 7-year-old boy, the baby he spotted in front of this vacant apartment looked like something out of a horror movie.
It was not wrapped. The baby was exposed, and it was shaking because, you know, it was cold, and the umbilical cord was still intact.
His mother, Christessa Myers, immediately called for help. Police say someone deserted the newborn at this empty apartment next door. That same day, Myers had planned to take her 2 boys here to the playground after picking them up from school, but got the feeling she needed to go home instead.
Something was drawing me to go home because normally I would not say no for the kids to go to the park.
Initially scared because the baby girl made no noise, Myers tried to protect her until the paramedics arrived.
When I heard that first cry, it was a relief, and I seen the paramedics too. It was like, oh, you know, it was a relief to all of us. The baby was crying.
Myers says she wonders why someone would drop the baby off at a doorstep. Just a few miles away, there's this fire station that serves as a safe haven for newborns.
If the baby is 7 days or younger, you can drop it off at a hospital or a medical service provider or a fire station with no recourse.
JSO points out no matter the circumstance, there's no reason for a parent to put a baby at risk. Thankful this Good Samaritan alerted the paramedics.
I only wish I could see the baby too, you know, now that she's doing well.
Myers says she feels forever connected to the child, happy to hear she's now safe. Elizabeth Kate, Channel 4, the local station.
Anyone with information about this case is asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-866-845-TIPS, and you can remain anonymous. Investigators also want to remind everyone of Florida's safe haven law. It allows parents to drop off a child 7 days or younger at a hospital or fire station with no questions asked. For more information about the law, you can go to news4jax.com. Look under top stories.
All right, we have been tracking Sandy all day long. It has been a weather alert day. Remember, not necessarily a severe weather day because we haven't seen any here locally, at least not yet. But we wanted you to be aware of what was going on, and that's why the alert day is in progress right now. You can see it there in your lower part of your screen. And then trick or treat, 42 degrees Wednesday morning. Kids heading off to school. They'll be loving to have a costume on. Tom and Mary.
Thank you, John. We have a traffic update on the south side where part of Atlantic Boulevard remains blocked off due to a broken water main. JEA crews have been out there today making repairs. Right now, all lanes are open except for one westbound lane. It remains closed from St. John's Bluff to Kernan Boulevard. Again, the far right westbound lane on that stretch of Atlantic is closed until further notice.
It is what Mayor Godbold dreamed about when he started Colt Fever all those years ago. Jacksonville NFL players retiring here and then coaching local kids.
That dream has come true at our Game of the Week. Sam is there.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Damon Jones, Lonnie Martz used to line up and practice against each other. Now we'll line up on opposing sidelines. We'll preview our Game of the Week coming up in about 2 minutes. Hey everybody, we're live right here at Fletcher Morgan Park, right off of Beach Boulevard on Dean Road, which serves as the home field for Seacoast Christian. And tonight they take on Harvest Community in a matchup of independents. And there is also a twist to the game that got more than 150,000 votes in terms of the voting on news4jax.com. Both teams are coached by former Jaguars, Damon Jones of the host school Seacoast Christian and Lonnie Martz, of course, who coaches at Harvest Community. Both guys started these programs at the two schools and have kept them alive and have kept them competitive. In fact, Seacoast Christian stands in the way of Harvest Community continuing to have a winning record. Harvest Community with a win last week against Christ Church, which was their biggest win under Lonnie Martz. Damon Jones, who started the program at Seacoast, says that he's more than willing to throw the ball around, and he's got a few surprises in store for tonight.
We like to stay on the ground. It may rain a little bit, it may not, but it doesn't matter to us. We'll just keep bringing it. And so I think Damon likes to throw the ball, and so you'll see both sides.
So it could be a lot of fun. Will there be a glaring contest across the field here?
Yeah, of course. I always glare at him every time I see him. I want to let him know. I never forget. So yeah.
We got to be disciplined tonight. We got to stay in our gaps, and we got to make sure tackles. And we'll see what we can do with throwing the ball a little bit. But I got a little surprise for Lonnie too.
These two guys used to line up across from each other in practice every day when they were members of the Jaguars, and obviously tonight they'll kick off at 7 o'clock. You can be a part of our Football Friday on 4 broadcast just by participating in social media. You can do that on Twitter at #FFOn4 or our signature at WJXT4. You can go to our Facebook page at WJXT4, the local station, or you can always send us a picture at pictures@WJXT.com. All that comes up actually tonight, not tomorrow, but tonight at 10:30. This is a big day for at least 4 men who are in town, as the Georgia-Florida Hall of Fame inducted 4 new members today. It's part of the city's celebration of what's going on. The bobblehead this year was our good friend Matt Robinson, who obviously is in the Hall of Fame as a member of the University of Georgia as well. Nonetheless, this is where David Green steps up and joins the Hall of Fame group today, and he said it was quite an honor.
A big deal across the nation, and anytime you're part of that situation there, it's great, and it's one of those events that is the best in the country.
I guess it's been eight years since I played. To be able to come back, I got kids now, and for them to get the experience with me, I got my family and friends here too, so it's a huge honor.
John L. Williams, of course, Coach Dickey, all members of the 2012 class. That's all preparations for tomorrow's big game, which kicks off at 3:30. Football Friday on 4 comes up at 10:30 tonight. Highlights of our game of the week, as well as all the other games from North Florida and South Georgia. Final home game of the year, by the way, for Camden County, and we'll be there, and you'll see highlights tonight at 10:30. For now, we're live on the South Side.
Thanks, Sam. One man's trash is another man's, well, you know how the saying goes.
Where youngsters were giving some old stuff new life. Next.
Waste not, want not, a successful lesson in recycling at a local school. It was Beauclair Elementary's annual recycling drive today.
Volunteers spent the morning collecting and sorting through clothes, computers, plastic bottles, then donated them to places like Hubbard House and Goodwill. A portion of the proceeds for everything collected goes to Beauclair Elementary.
Stay with us, there's more to come.
The news continues with Jen and Kent right after the break.